What is up, YouTube? Well, we're going to do a little different video today. So, as a lot of you know, Avowed was recently dropped off. And as I was creating my character and stuff, I was kind of thinking, does everybody do what I do when creating a character? And obviously, that question, or the answer to that question is no, they do not. So what I wanted to talk about today was what is some of the stuff that when you guys create characters, you play new games, that automatically just seems to happen no matter what you do. Now, and a good example of this would be, as a lot of people know when you play Skyrim, it is very hard to not go for the stealthy archer approach. And as a lot of you know, if you get your stealth really high and you get your archery really high, you can pretty much pick people off like an assassin super easy, especially even early to late game. Now, before I was really into the internet and reading up about this game and stuff, it seemed like when I played this game offline, a lot of times I found myself sneaking into this sneaky archer class. Now, it wasn't until I started reading online that this is a very common and funny thing that a lot of people find themselves doing, especially when you're trying to play certain challenges in it. And then another thing I noticed too is as I started watching more and more YouTube videos about people playing these games, I noticed that you had the people out there that when creating a character, especially like when I was watching people play Baldur's Gate and stuff, where they would purposely try to make the character themselves related to or look a lot like them personally. And even back in the day when you had like Madden and stuff like that, you could actually upload a picture of yourself and it would kind of design the character model a little bit more around what you actually look like. It obviously was very primitive technology and a lot of times did not look very good at all, but the opportunity was there. But I've noticed that a lot of times when I do create characters, obviously the older I get, the less detailed I get. I kind of just want along the lines of play the game itself nowadays because I don't have that much of gaming time. For example, here when I played Avowed, I just picked a base character model and built my class around that. But I've known some people to actually go into great details about the way that the character looks to make it look a lot like them. A long time ago, Omega Ace Gaming and a few of his friends actually went into pretty good detail on creating a bunch of YouTubers and putting them into a wrestling game, and was actually at one point going to make a bunch of matches with these YouTubers. And the character designs for these guys was actually very good, went into pretty good detail, and it took a lot of work. But now I personally used to try to kind of create characters around what I think that if I was in that day and age or that video game land would be what I would look like and how I would react. It wasn't until later on that I kind of went against the grain and tried to do other things. For example, now in my Avowed character, which I've been enjoying so far, I'm about 3 or 4 hours into it, I went for something I've never really done before, and that is a high constitution, high strength Warhammer build. I've never in my life have really ever been, I think the only time I did was on one of the Dragon Age games, but I've never been a barbarian type kind of person where you're mostly going in there with your strength and the biggest weapon you can find and just swinging till the cows come home. So this has been something that I've been experiencing on here that's been kind of unique to me because it's a totally different play style than what I'm usually used to. And then that just having that two-armed hammer has been very, different. I've been enjoying it, and it's been kind of fun. And a lot of people have been kind of talking down about this game, but I've been enjoying it so far. So that's one thing you guys can always do is don't necessarily believe what other people say until you've experienced the game itself. But back into this subject, I found myself just picking the base model, doing a totally different class I've never done before. And as I was saying earlier, I've seen some people get into really unique characters when making them online. I think over time, you're either just wired that way or not. Because I always had a buddy who, whenever he created a character, he always just chose to be female. Now, he was a man's man. It was nothing like him. Like, he wasn't, a woman trapped in a man's body or something. He said that every time, ever since he was young, for some reason, every time he created a player, he just always chose the female option, and it was just normal for him. And I never really experienced that much beforehand, except for when I've been watching Game Grumps, and I've seen that Aaron, of course, always likes to choose the female character. And other than that, I've seen some people go to very unique levels of character design. Green skin, pink hair, absolutely just going off the deep end with like huge arms, tiny legs, or the other way, huge legs, tiny arms. I know my son, whenever he's building his new NCAA football player, he always does really crazy stuff. I think he had a running back one time that was super short and like 300 pounds or something. It was really funny because he'd get the ball and you just see this little guy running, but he was really fat, and and then he picked the speed kind, so it was this little fat guy just running really fast down the field. But it made me laugh, and then but I remember seeing a lot of people do some weird stuff like that with Baldur's Gate. Obviously some stuff on Cyberpunk. If you guys are unfamiliar with Cyberpunk's character creation, you can actually adjust their yahoos and stuff like that. So if you want a character with a really big yahoo, you can do that, which was a little over the top, I think, personally, but it was just kind of funny to see. And it was a big surprise when I was creating a character, and next thing I know, there's a yahoo in my face. Anyways, going on, I'm just curious below what kind of type of character creation kind of guys you are. I did have a buddy also too that did usually choose the archer type class because outside of playing video games, he was really into archery. He was into bow hunting and just shooting at targets in general. So he said that he always liked to choose the archer class because it was what he felt like he was more connected with. And that might be too sometimes why I would choose to be more of a mage class, because I always felt more of a nerd type. So I was always like searching at some point for knowledge of stuff and gaining intelligence and having wisdom. And so mage classes always usually made more sense to me for the most part. But now that I've grown up older and I've become more, I've probably come more closer to the warrior type kind of class. And so that's what I've been reflecting on more. The shield and sword, just having heavier armor, and just being more physically inclined instead of, being up to date on stuff. I still think that knowledge and stuff is important, but the older you get, the more your mind starts to kind of just forget stuff. So obviously, physical is something that you can't hold on to unless of, disabilities or diseases and stuff like that. So I'm trying to keep my body in as much better shape as I can. So now that I've kind of just ventured off into talking about random stuff now, I want to know in the comments below, like I said earlier, what kind of create a class or create a character person are you? Do you just do simple every time where you pick the same things, or do you just pick base models, or do you go off the deep end and get as detailed as possible? Try to make it look exactly like you, or just make it look extremely funny, so that way whenever cutscenes come up, you guys can get a great laugh out of it. So I want to know in the comments below what you guys do. I hope you enjoyed this different type of video. This was something kind of fun that I decided to come up with, and yeah, that's just interested to see what you guys have. If you guys are new to the channel and you enjoy videos like this, please consider hitting the subscribe button. Otherwise, if you want, give a thumbs up, and like I said, make sure you comment below. If anything, I don't necessarily consider or really care much about the subscribe part or the thumbs up part, but I'd love to read your guys' comments. Even if you're new to the channel and you don't plan on subscribing, just let me know what you guys think in the comments below, because I love reading comments more than anything. So that being said, guys, as always, stay retro, my friends, and we'll see you in the next one, guys. God bless. Go out there and create those characters.